Hi, welcome back. I hope you had a wonderful week and you're ready for another video this week. And as I promised you, we talk about Portuguese cheese. This was a suggestion by my follower Sila Neves, which also suggested me to talk about the Portuguese gastronomy by region. That series is finalized, it ended last week, and today I'm gonna talk about some of the Portuguese cheeses. Obviously, it would be impossible to talk about them all, but I will try to talk about the ones that I think are the most important. So stick around, let's talk. So let's talk cheese. Portugal is one country that produces great cheeses from north to south. Basically, every region um, has its own cheese. You can find several types of cheeses. They use several types of milk. They can use cow's milk or goat's milk or sheep's milk, or even they can mix. And sometimes there is cheeses made with a blend of several types of milk. Uh, it's impossible just to mention all of them because there is so many from north to south. You'll find cheese everywhere. You'll find every region will have their own cheeses. I think I said it in my um, episode about Beira Litoral, that in my dad's village where he was born, they used to make these small little cheeses with goat's milk. And even though I don't really like goat's cheese, that one was amazing because you could eat it fresh. Uh, on the day it was made, you could eat it like that. But then it was cured as well, and it would obviously become harder, and the flavor was so nice. And actually it didn't really have that very strong flavor that some goat's cheeses have. And I truly like those cheeses. I truly remember my dad's auntie doing it, and I used to eat them all summer because she used to make them basically every day, every week. She would have a batch of those cheeses, and we would go there, and she'll give us some to take home, and I would eat them there as well. So they very nice. Um, then there is, I think, one of the most famous cheeses in Portugal is called queijo da Serra. So translated, it would be the mountain cheese. And it is from Serra da Estrela, so the Star Mountain, the highest mountain in the country. It is an amazing cheese. I'm just salivating just thinking about it. It is sheep's milk cheese, and it's very soft. In fact, it comes wrapped in a cloth. And the traditional way is you just make a little hole on the top of the cheese, and then you just scoop it out with a spoon and put in your bread and eat it like that because it's that soft. It's amazing. But there's also a variety of cheese of Serra da Estrela that are a bit hard cheese. So this is the most traditional, the most famous. It's the soft one. But there's also cheeses there. There's also Serra da Estrela cheese that are harder. And in that case, you would eat it, sliced like any other cheese. Then in Azores, and I also said it last week, you have queijo de São Jorge, so Saint George cheese, because it's from that island, St. George. And it's cow's milk cheese, and it's a huge cheese, a huge round cheese. It would look like, it would be like a Portuguese parmesan, even though in terms of flavor, in terms of consistency, you'll find it has nothing to do with the Parmesan. It's just on the side of it. It's a huge cheese, and usually is sold in Portugal in little slices, wrapped obviously in glad wrap, and it's sold like that in supermarkets or delis, etc. The Portuguese usually call it queijo da ilha, so island cheese, uh, which doesn't really equate to anything because which island? There's 9 islands in Azores and there's 2 islands in Madeira. So, but that's how it's usually called in continental Portugal. It's usually called queijo da ilha, so island cheese. Then you have queijo fresco, which is what I said, for example, in that in my dad's Hunty. It's the fresh cheese, so it's the fresh curds. They just press it down, and it's very popular in Portugal. Sometimes you go to a restaurant and you can have it as an entree with a little bit of salt and pepper, uh, little croutons, and you just put you slice it up and you put it on the bread. Or for breakfast, is also a very good option for breakfast. Um, it's not a cottage cheese and it's not a ricotta. It's a fresh cheese, but it is it's different. It's really nice, and you can cut it. I think this one is the traditional or the most consumed. It's from cow's milk. You cut it in slices. It's, as I said, you put a sprinkle a bit of salt, a bit of pepper, and then you can either eat it like that. A lot of people eat it actually like that. Other people put it in a toast or in small croutons, and eat it as an entree. They are delicious. It's one of the things I miss here in Australia is this queijo fresco because we don't have it here and is really to die for. Anytime I go to Portugal, I have to buy those because I love it. I love it. I love it. Please, if you go to Portugal, try this cheese because it's to die for. We have the Limiano, which is from Ponte de Lima, which is a Portuguese version of the famous Eden cheese. It's like like a ball, like Eden cheese, and that is really traditional from Ponte de Lima, which is in Minho, north of Portugal. But then there was a bit of a conflict. The factory changed, was taken from Ponte Lima, and it was quite a controversy because this cheese should be produced in Ponte Lima since its name is Limiano. So there is a lot of Portuguese now that say that this cheese can no longer be called Limiano because it's not produced in that city. I tend to agree, but it's very delicious. It's really soft. It's creamy. Um, it's not like a camembert or anything. When I say creamy, you'll feel it. It's like buttery. It's really nice cheese. And then this one, it's called queijo chulé, and chulé stands for sock smell. And why it has this funny name? It is because this cheese, um, due to the bacteria that develops in in the cheese, it has a very strong smelly, smelly sock smell that people gave it that smell. It's a little bit spicy when you eat it. It usually comes wrapped in alfoil and is from Beira Baixa. And some people just dread it for the smell. Other people just forget about the smell and love it. So it's one of those cheeses that is quite polarizing. Some love it, others hate it. This was my little sample of the Portuguese cheeses. And that's all for today. I hope you really enjoyed our trip through the cheeses of Portugal. As I said, I could not mention them all because there are so many. I'm sure you'll be thinking about lots of great cheeses that I didn't mention, and I apologize for that. But it's totally impossible to mention them all in only 10 minutes or so. So I hope you really enjoyed it. But as I said, if you remember any of those cheeses that I didn't mention, please share in the comments below. Or if you have any suggestion or an opinion about any of the cheeses that I mentioned, if you have tried them and if you like them or if you didn't like them, please share with us. Put a like, you know, the YouTube algorithm always likes it. And subscribe the channel with a little click on the bell so you get a notification of a new talk every week. Before I go, I would like to thank you all for watching. Have a lovely week. See you next time. Thank you. Bye.